Alright, welcome to race number 9 in my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode with Jaguar Racing F1 team. We are coming off our victory in Baku and coming to another track that I really enjoy driving at in the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Practice is done. Weather looks good. A little cloudy at the end of the race, but that's okay. It's dry. I presume we'll win our rivalry with Danny Kvyat once we go through qualifying. I'm sure we'll out-qualify him. RD progress. I think we are technically behind Haas, but I think we're also on level with them. It's kind of hard to see because I think the green and the white lines are blending a little bit. Excuse me, I just had dinner. I think we have an upgrade. The upgrade for the minor drag should be coming in time for the French Grand Prix, which is the next race. And then the major engine upgrade should be in for Austria. And actually, we're going to go and purchase another upgrade. We're going to get a chassis upgrade for the roll dampers, which will help tire wear. And that will be in also for Austria. Hopefully. So we got that taken care of. It's actually good. We got a couple of resource points here in case the upgrade schedule for France doesn't come in and it fails. We'll have some in the bank, which is good. Resource points, that is. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to go to qualifying. Alright, we are ready to go to qualifying, and as I said, Canada is a track I've always really enjoyed, and a track that I typically do good at. Did a little bit worse than I was expecting to last year, but still wasn't bad, still pretty good actually. Yeah, so pace was good in practice, so the qualifying, we actually failed the qualifying sim program. So I'm kind of curious to see where we end up. Because that's what inevitably happens in these races sometimes, is that I'll fail the qualifying sim program. And it'll say, oh, you're going to be dead last based on the projections. And then when we actually go through qualifying, we end up just well above the, you know, those silly little projections, I guess. But right now, we're actually sort of performing maybe to the level of what the car actually is. Now P14. come across the line P11. So we'll be the first car with free choice of tire, which should be interesting. And we'll see what the tire choices are come the race.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Hamilton, Bottas, and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So it's pretty much Noah's Ark at the front of the field. It sort of gets mixed up a little bit. I actually should have mentioned this, but Alfa Romeo, I think, are now like the 5th best team on the grid if it turns to performance. And that's showing up through Antonio Giovinazzi, who qualified in the top 10. And then you get stuff like, well, Perez and Racing Point are also decent, or up there in that top half of the midfield. But then you got like Stroll in 12th and Raikkonen in 15th, so it's kind of interesting to look at. And yeah, so we are going to be ready to go for Canada, and we'll see what strategies are on offer. As we successfully win the rivalry with Danny Kvyat, which will give us 1,200 acclaim. All right. We're ready to go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Yes, like I was saying, with the qualifying pace, sometimes it'll turn out where I fail it, I'm dead last, but the qualifying, it always ends up being much better than the test would indicate. This one was sort of in the middle, but most of the time when I fail, it ends up being much further up the field than I would have guessed. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just ends up like that, I guess.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles an hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions. And watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and the final chicane. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And it's great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Alexander Albon, and Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Giovinazzi, and Daniel Ricciardo. The owner driver, Stroll, Lando Norris, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Ocon, Roman Grosjean, and Daniel Kvyat. Magnussen, Latifi, Calderon, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So our teammate actually gains one position thanks to a grid penalty for Russell. As we wait for the loading screen to come up here. Taking its time. There we go.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, so it's putting me on the softs anyway, which I'm honestly not going to complain about, really, so we'll take that. It looks like a soft, medium strategy. We'll see how the tire wear plays out, but there we go. So, we are ready to rock and roll, I would say. And just to check the race director, everybody's on softs. So, that was indeed the right strategy to go with.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap.
I think the follow, I suppose, is going to be whether or not people try to do a one-stop and going on to the hards, or if, like me, they're trying to go for a two-stop. Typically what I've liked to do in the past is go soft, medium, soft. But it's gonna
No rain
depend.
expected. No rain expected for the time being.
It's gonna depend on how long I can take the softs and how long I can take the mediums.
Okay, our main competitors in this race are Ricciardo and Stroll.
Obviously, since I consider Canada to be one of my better tracks, my goal would be to score points. So, I mean, we're already starting 11th, so we're basically there anyway. Basically already at the points, we just have to pass one car. So, yeah, we will see how we go on this start. I always need a bit of a rush, because you have the quick sort of slight right, and then the hard left into the hairpin that sends it off to the rest of the circuit. So you just gotta be on your toes and can get pretty tight.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
And everyone's pretty much lined up, so we are ready to rock and roll in Montreal. Canadian Grand Prix, 5 red lights. And we're off. Go. Great start, gotta pick a spot to go. Hit by Giovinazzi. Ooh. Bit of a cheeky dive there. It's going pretty wide. We're gonna get around, we're gonna get into P6. It was Verstappen who had a really shocking start. Not only did he get out-qualified by his teammate Albon, but he's going to end up 8th after losing spots to himself and Sergio Perez. But definitely not the start that he was looking for.
That's a strong start. Well done.
Like, grass a little bit coming off that corner. Okay, really close to Albon there. And on the power with the overtake. See if we can gain anything on him going down the straight. No DRS yet, but we are in the slipstream of the Red Bull. I think where I lose the most time is in this complex of corners here, basically all the way through to the hairpin. I feel like I sort of lose a little time everywhere. And it's not that this section of the track is necessarily difficult. I guess I'm just not, I just keep following the line. I guess I'm just not nailing it as perfectly as the AI is. As you can see, I had made a gap to Perez, but now he's right back on me. And if we can't catch Albon, we'll just do the best we can to hold our current position. That's not good. Yeah, you gotta be... That chicane is easy, but it's also easy to screw up, if that makes sense, if you're not too precise about it, like I was that time. Hamilton, fastest lap of the race, no surprise there.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
We are right up the rear end of Alexander Albon. See if we can make anything happen. Jeez, we're hitting the back of him. We're gonna have a good run. I'm actually not gonna overtake him here. So I know there's the DRS zone coming up on the next long straight, and I think this would be a better opportunity for us to pass. Enabled. Albon will not have DRS, we will, so we should just pass him. Hopefully into the chicane. Dive! Goes to block, but we want to get past him, but I don't want to cut the chicane. If we're going to do it fair. Get the job done. We are up into P5.
Good job. Nice overtake. Gap to car in front is 3.0 seconds.
Unfortunately, number one, I think this is about as high as we're going to get. Two, I don't think we're going to be able to hold this position. What's helping is that Perez and them are fighting each other side by side to the complex of corners. So that's actually going to give us a little bit of breathing room to the cars behind us. I think the real key in circuits like this is that you want to hope you get in a situation where you build a gap to the car behind you to the point where they're not in your DRS range, but then hope that they are then in DRS range of somebody else, so that they start to fight for position, which will, they go side by side through tight corners like we just did in the first sector. That will enable them, or that will enable you, me in this case, to drive away. hoping that Perez and Albon and Verstappen just
We're leading our teammate by
really
11.8 seconds.
go after each other. And Albon is within the DRS range, so he should be giving Perez some trouble. Or at least that's the idea. Yeah, this corner right here that we just went through, that's probably my worst spot on the entire track. I don't know, it just seems a little bit of a difficult corner to nail. Getting into a bit of a DRS trade there, because Albon's definitely in the range, but he's not able to do
a second
anything.
a lap faster than you.
I feel like we get really good traction out of that hairpin, especially when we go right in the rich mix and right into the overtake mode.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
I actually haven't checked the pit window that closely yet. Staying on lap 9. So I
Be
guess
aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
I guess that's what we'll go with. 36% wear. It's not terrible, but we'll see in 2 laps. There it really is. And actually, we have Hamilton into the pits already. As I think that's Verstappen into the pits, I want to say. Which Red Bull is it? I think it's Verstappen. It is Max Verstappen into the pits. Let's see what tires Hamilton's going on. Okay, so Hamilton is going on another set of softs, which kind of surprises me. I know that there was an option for a 3-stop race in the strategy selection. That's interesting. Now that does make me consider the 1-stop, but I would also like to, you know, go with some sort of speed.
Bottas is up in first place.
So this is where Hamilton comes out. Hamilton's going to come out, because I didn't catch him on the mini-map. He's going to come out... Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's behind... He's behind Ricardo. And at this point, I'm in fourth. So Hamilton comes out in 10th. In traffic, while on a fresh set of soft tires. And I believe Verstappen did the same, and he did, and he's dead last. So very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not entirely sure what their play is. We'll see, I suppose.
Our gap to the car in front is 8.4 seconds.
I am going to stick with my team strategy, and I'm going to stick it out for another lap and go onto the soft tires. As Leclerc is now in the pits, while Vettel and Bottas stay out. Leclerc also goes
We
for
want to
another
pit this
stint
lap, so push now.
of soft tires. So very interesting developments here. I think, is that Ricardo in the pits? I believe that's Ricardo, who also was in the pits. And I'm guessing that he came in for a set of soft tires. So we check the race director. No, he went on to the medium, so I guess Ricardo was doing a similar strategy to me, but he came in one lap earlier. Very curious to see what the leaders do this time. Bottas and Vettel. Very interested to see how they decide to play this. If they decide to come in, or what they're going to do. They are both in, and that's our call to come
Pitting
into.
this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap. Affirmative, medium tyres at the
Medium
next stop.
tires on this pit stop. And Perez and Albon and almost everybody else is going to follow into the pits behind me. And we'll take a look here and see who's doing what. Bottas fits the mediums. Vettel also fits the mediums. Alright. Looks like we got Albon going on to the mediums. It looks like the McLarens are going to go on to the mediums. And it looks like everyone who's coming in right now is going on to the medium tires.
Release, release.
So we come out just ahead of Albon, who jumps Perez in the pits.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Let's see, we're going to come out right next to Nicholas Latifi. We have to just edge him out, and crucially, Latifi is in front of Verstappen and Albon. So hopefully Latifi maybe he can serve as a nice little roadblock for us on this next lap. If Verstappen doesn't get by him, which he might. No, fair play to Latifi. Holds him off in that top-up corners in that DRS zone. I imagine that Red Bull is going to fly by the Williams on this long back straight right before the final chicane. He's got some cars who waited an extra lap Obviously, because their other teammates were pitting, so they didn't have the opportunity to pit.
Tatiana is coming in for a stop. Okay, gap ahead is 9.7 seconds. The gap to the car behind is 1.8 seconds.
So I expect that Max Verstappen will catch us, but the crucial thing to remember, of course, is that Verstappen is on the softs, we are on the mediums, so that's no surprise, he should catch us. And Ferrari Mercedes really showing their pace. They're way ahead of the rest of us right now. Actually, as we go to make our mid-session save, we'll check and see where everyone else is on tires. So it looks like Verstappen, Leclerc, and Hamilton are the only ones who did soft, and I think pretty much everyone else, aside from Raikkonen, so he joins them, but pretty much everyone else went soft to medium. So Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen, and Raikkonen running a bit of an alternate strategy. I guess Raikkonen's doing it just so he can try to gain some spots, considering he started like 15th or so. I'm going to pause for a second. I think the audio might be cutting out a little bit on the headphones. Sounds a little better. Maybe I was pushing something, not sure. Anyway. At this point, we just got to drive our race. See how far these medium tires can take us. One thing to remember is that we did about 9 laps start the race on those soft tires.
Gap to car in front is 11.2 seconds.
Get off the turn here. The pit strategy says between laps 22 and 28, which I think is a potential window if we could stretch it far enough for us to come in on our second stop and pit a fresh set of soft tires.
Gap to teammate behind is 24.4 seconds.
I think that's something we can try. Again, depending on how the tire wear goes. Now, we did do our tire test and practice on the mediums. That went pretty well as the race pace test also went well. We did that on the mediums. So we'll see how far these tires will take us as Max Verstappen is looking to make a move to the inside. As he practically parks it in the middle of the corner. I find it funny how he goes for the move and then he just slows down drastically compared to myself. Basically, almost practically cut the chicane there. Almost. I mean, I have no problem with Verstappen if he passes me on the back straight here. That's an issue, but where he decided to pass was just a very awkward spot, to say the least. Let's see if he can find me this time with DRS. He's catching, but he's not gaining much. He's not getting close.
Pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
I've been very impressed with how we've so able to take the fight effectively to the Red Bulls, at least my side of the garage anyway. Yeah, it's really fun just racing these guys most weeks, or most race weekends, I guess. Verstappen is there.
The gap to the car ahead is 13.4 seconds.
No, I'm just doing my own thing, so Verstappen's gonna pass me. He's got to earn it. He hasn't earned it yet. Like I think I mentioned earlier, we get a really, once we bust out that overtake into the rich mix, we get a really great exit off that hairpin, which enables us to scoot away just a little bit. And even though he has DRS, he can't quite catch us. He's just not quite close enough to get it done. Close in that DRS straight, but he's just not there enough to make a move. We cover him off there, almost had us. We were able to make our one move to defend. But here he comes. He might just have us. And see, here's the thing: we pull away from him a little bit. And we get just enough distance that we can keep him behind us as there he goes, he comes into the pits. I think Hamilton is also in the pits. We're not going to beat him out of the pits, unfortunately. It would have been great if we could just held him up there. Wait a minute. Did Hamilton just pit for another set of soft tires? He did. He went on to another set of soft tires. And I think Verstappen's going to do the same thing. No, he goes on to the mediums. But that's really interesting. Hamilton is going for a 3-stop, and while I don't, begrudge him, he is Lewis Hamilton, and they are Mercedes. I don't know about that strategy. I really don't think that's a winning move. I think he's just cost himself a race there.
The car ahead has come in and fitted the soft tire.
I don't know why in that situation you would go for a 3-stop, especially when you were so far ahead. I mean, again, he is in a Mercedes. He's the best driver in the best car, but still. And we got Leclerc coming in. Does he also go on to softs? Verstappen went on to mediums. So I presume he's going to try to go to the end. But no, I think Leclerc also went on to soft tires. Yeah, I really don't think that's a good strategy, if I'm being honest. I think he's throwing away a potential podium here. Now he's behind us, and we're going to hold him up. Although I suspect he should be able to get by us on this DRS straight coming up. Yeah, just let him go. Take that chicane a little bit better, because I was hoping maybe, we won't get past him again, but we can get a little bit of toe. Going down the 2 long straights, so we will be within DRS range of Leclerc. Maybe that'll help us get away a little bit from Albon and Perez. We've actually gained on us a little bit. having to pass Leclerc, the DRS will help us gain some of that time that we lost to Albon and Perez.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
I don't think he's dropped by that much, but I'll actually make a quick save here just to be safe.
Our gap to the car in front is 1.5 seconds.
Just check our tire wear. We're at 27%. I think it's was the highest wearing tire left front. Yeah, honestly, looking at the tire wear, I think we can make that switch to softs at the end of the race. I think we can safely make it to a distance where the soft tire would be very viable for the end of the race. Again, I went 9 laps. On that set of soft tires. So I think I'm going to target lap 26.
Okay, the car ahead is pulling away from you at the rate of around 2 seconds a lap.
Oh, he's in a Ferrari on fresh soft tires. Of course he's going to pull away from me. I think the play is going to hit on lap 26. Which will come out on lap 27. And that to the end of the race is basically the same stint that we did at the start of the race on the soft tires. So I think this is looking pretty good for us. I'm not sure. I guess the only question now is I'm not sure what the guys behind me are going to do. I have no idea if they're going to go on to do what I'm doing and go on softs, or potentially go on to mediums, which is what the strategy recommended at the start.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Well, maybe not so fast.
Gap ahead is 5.5 seconds.
Once you get Montreal down, it's a really nice circuit to drive. Just nice, you know, basically long straights, tight chicanes. Basically sort of drives like a street circuit, even though it's, I guess, technically not really a street circuit. anyway, we are running in P5. Building a little bit of a gap to Albon and Perez.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap. We're leading our teammate by 36.9 seconds. We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2. Tyre condition is still looking good.
Oh, we got a car in the pits. We've got Vettel and one of the Mercedes, Bottas. They are in for medium tires. Vettel comes out right in front of us. And I guess Hamilton's idea is to try to build as much of a gap as possible between him and Bottas, so that he'll come in on mediums, same tire compound, but he'll at least be one lap fresher tires. Oh, and I should have mentioned, I just noticed that other people started to pit, including Perez and Albon and Giovinazzi and Sainz. I think a couple others. Ocon is in the pits. Gasly and Grosjean are in the pits. Now, we're going to lose time to those guys over these next couple laps when they're on their pressure medium tires. But, again, the crucial factor is that when we pit, we are going to come out on soft tires. So we will be far and away. As actually pause to check on the status of my teammate who is running. She's running in 21st and seemingly has to make yet another pit stop. So things not going good for her right now. As Hamilton now, if he comes into pits, he'll be in 4th place. I think we'll come out just behind him, I'm guessing. Or no, we're going to come out right ahead of Hamilton, so that's interesting. So, we're actually, because we're going for another couple laps, we're going to be holding up Hamilton a tree here.
Gap to car in front is 4.3 seconds.
Yeah, this is not... We're a bit of a span in the works for Lewis Hamilton right now. And even with the DRS, he's not able to make the pass that time. But the thing is, we are not a lap car. We have every right to fight. This is 4th position. And he's probably going to blow by us
for the mediums.
right here. He's going to...
Tatiana is in the pits. Tatiana in the pits.
Move on and blow by us with relative ease. And there he goes, romping off into the distance. As Leclerc makes his stop. And like I said, we are going to go another lap. Our tire wear is not that bad. And like I said, I definitely expect us to lose time to Perez and the guys who we were trying to keep behind us. That's a given. But again, the key will be on the better tires at the end of the race. And those guys will have already put laps. Will have already put laps with their medium tires. So not only will we be on tires that are a couple laps fresher, but we're going to be on a softer compound as well. In this race, based on where we're running, Perez has got the gap to 15 seconds. Just over 15 seconds. We're probably going to end up outside of the points. The challenge, that's going to be the challenge, is to try to get back in. Like I said, I started 11th, so even if we finish 10th to get a point, I'll be more than happy with that.
The gap to the car ahead is 4.1 seconds. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
Alright, so just to save some fuel, we're going to run lean mix. No overtakes, so hopefully Leclerc just blows by us on the inside. There he goes. We will dive into the pits. Soft tires coming on.
Exit now.
And we are away.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
It actually came out a lot better than I thought we would. We're going to come out in only P7. I thought we were going to be outside the points, to be honest, but that's not the case. Here we are, P7. As we begin our pursuit towards Alexander Albon and Sergio Perez. And maybe, just maybe,
Use your overtake button more. It's time to
we'll
utilize
be
some
in
of
a
this
shot
energy.
for the fastest lap of the race. Things go our way here. If we catch Albon before the chicane, I don't think we will.
The gap behind it.
Ooh, yeah, I thought we could make the dive there, but that wasn't to be. Maybe it'll be easier pass this time around. Dive to the inside. Little contact, but it's okay. We got him for position up to P6. And I suspect that little bit of DRS is going to help us if we're trying to go for the fastest lap of the race. Although, I say that, and we only get a green sector 1. I'm going to use up the fuel a little bit here on this fastest lap attempt, and then we'll put it back down in the standard mix. Until we at least get in a little bit of a safer spot with some fuel. And also the green sector 2. Don't think we'll get the fastest lap, but it should still be a pretty good lap time. No,
was the
even
fastest
though...
lap of the race. Keep this up. Gap
No.
to teammate behind is 43.2 seconds.
No purple sectors, but we got the fastest lap anyway. Hey, you'll take it any way you can get it. That's our point right now. And unless any of the guys in front of us, mainly the Ferrari or the Mercedes, put up some major laps on their medium tires, this is a fastest lap that we might be able to keep. I guess as far as the front runners, one thing that's really impressed me is just the pace of Bottas. And I figured if one of the Mercedes is going to be dominating, it was going to be Hamilton, but no, Bottas is in the lead now, and he's won more races than Hamilton. I think if he holds on to win this one, he'll have a 4-2 edge over Hamilton in terms of race wins.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tires.
And don't forget, Bottas actually came into this race tied in the points. Hamilton, for the point lead. So not only will Bottas, take the lead, race wins, but he'll have the points lead as well. And that's all, keep in mind, Bottas had an engine failure in Australia in the first race of the season. So he already had to overcome a handicap of freaking 0 points in that first race. And he's still doing remarkably better than Lewis, I have to say. Maybe, it's never gonna happen, but maybe, Mercedes should reconsider who the #1 driver of that team is at this rate. Yeah, we're staying in DRS range for Perez. We're not really gaining anything on him either. I mean, we are running in standard mix. And we get it pretty close in spots like right there.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Maybe it's just because I've been forgetting to use overtake mode in the appropriate spots. Yeah, that again, that corner right there, that's where I really have trouble. So I sometimes just coming out of the chicane, I'll get on the inside of the grass when I try to make the arc turn. I'll run into the grass and I'll mess up that exit in a big way. That's okay, we're still right on Perez. We're still well within DRS range.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon.
Get
Don't
really
wait too
close
long
to
to
his
turn the engine
rear
on.
end.
Some information on Verstappen. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Max Verstappen is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. Somewhere in the first sector, actually right at the start of the second sector is where he retired.
The car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
It's actually kind of interesting because I noticed that Verstappen had really fallen off from where he was. Like I was checking back through Albon and Perez, and he was nowhere near those guys, or even like Ricardo.
Yellow flag.
So I'm guessing Verstappen must have had a problem that was already affecting him that I didn't know about, and he was falling back.
Okay, clear.
And then he eventually just retired from the race. So yeah, it's one of those guys who's sort of on the outside looking in when it comes to the championship. It's not going to be a good day for him. He's definitely going to take a hit. Definitely going to take a hit. As they put up the overtake, hit a little bit of that rich mix.
3 laps of fuel remaining.
Coming up on 3 laps to go. And as far as the guys behind me, I believe it is obviously Perez is in 6th, Albon is in 7th. And I think it's Ricardo. I want to say it's Ricardo, Giovinazzi, Sainz and Stroll, I want to say. So I guess the last point in position is Sainz. He's the guy in 10th, I believe. So it's going to be a fight between him and Stroll for that last point. Hop into Rich Mix again. Sort of just like Baku. At this point, it's all about maintaining gap. Just making sure to keep a certain distance from the car behind so that they don't get within the DRS range. Tire wear is looking very solid considering we're on the soft tires. Should be able to bring it home in a very lofty P5 on a day where Red Bull definitely faltered. Verstappen, the worst qualifier of the top 6, the 3 best teams, and then lost a couple of spots at the start and then just dropped out of the race. And Albon, I mean, with him, I was expecting, I was surprised that he had qualified ahead of Verstappen, even though it was only 1 spot. Still, it's noteworthy. I might talk about Albon in a little bit after this race.
This is your final lap of the race.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't able to convert that P5 starting position into something a little bit more. In this race. Albon, to be fair though, he is on right.
To the car in front is 17.1 seconds.
He is pretty close to Perez, and he might be able to get him here for P6 on this last lap. As I say that, Lewis Hamilton might have a shot at Vettel going down the big straight here, going into the chicane. Looking at the mini-map. As Bottas wins the Grand Prix, and Vettel will hold off Hamilton to take 2nd. As we use up all the remaining ERS we have left, I'll throw in a lead mix just because it doesn't really matter at this point. We're going to secure 5th place. Another great finish on a track that I really enjoy. We will take it.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Get some challenges completed. Get some XP. Unlocking that snazzy tuxedo race suit thing.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
All right, there we go. Top four, pretty much as expected. Perez and Albon are right behind us. Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, and Sainz holds off Stroll for that last point. Basically, the only person who started in the top 10 who didn't get points was Verstappen, who of course DNF'd out of the race. So there you go. It's the Canadian Grand Prix. Another solid result. Fourth in the constructor standings, despite our car in terms of the where it is in the development chart.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
All right, we pick a new rival. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go for one of these guys. I think the best choice is probably Carlos Sainz for our next rival.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Honestly, the car handled very well around
you
Canada.
Really in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Couldn't do this without a great team behind me.
Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Getting some more acclaim, and we've already passed Calderon. And again, I might have mentioned this in the last race, but I think what I'm going to do, because I don't like the idea of switching drivers halfway through the season. I want to sort of give a driver a full shot, especially the F2 drivers. So I'm going to re-sign Calderon, even though I think she's asking for a little more than she's worth, personally. But again, I'd rather just keep someone off the full season. I'm never really a big fan of switching midway through, because I do think I signed them with the intent of using them for the full season, so I do think they deserve that chance, regardless of how they're performing. And to be honest, she hasn't been performing. I mean, she finished, even though our car even isn't the worst car, she still finished the last runner on the track. So activities, messages, no messages. We get the R&D coming in on the 22nd before the race, which the race is on the 25th. If you look at our facilities, our power upgrade for the powertrain to get the quality control came in, which was good. And because I want to save some money for Calderon, I'm going to basically build up money and then spend it on the teammate, who she's still worth $2 million. and then we'll use what we have left over on other stuff. So, go to the activities. Race simulations, that's a pretty good one, I'd say. Well, we have 6 days left. Let's go to visit sponsor headquarters. Yeah, I guess we'll go for a little chassis team building. I think that'll be good. And yeah, so there we go. And we will advance, see what happens here. And the upgrade comes in, which is good. Very nice to see that. So yeah, the next race is the French Grand Prix, and that will be all for this video.